why would you ever try to put something out there that would hurt somebody's relationship? That's malicious, and it's mean, and it's stupid, but, you know.
From having slept with 5,000 women to the most wholesome and pleasing couples, but are completely outspoken about their time in bed, you might not believe who are on our list of Hollywood stars with wildly active sex lives. Who would ever believe the main character in a favorite film, The Shining, had a very rebellious and excessive sexual interest? Ready yet? Let's get this hotness started. Number 20. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga has never been one to shy away from attention, whether it's through her outrageous fashion, bold performances, or candid interviews. Her sex life, much like her career, has often made headlines. Gaga has openly talked about her sexuality, identifying as bisexual and challenging norms around sexual expression. Over the years, she's dated high-profile celebrities, including actor Taylor Kinney and tech entrepreneur Michael Polanski. But she's also made it clear that her personal life is hers to own and control. What makes Gaga's sex life so notorious isn't necessarily scandal, but her fearless attitude about it. She's been vocal about using her platform to fight sexual shame, empowering others to embrace their desires without guilt. In interviews, she's casually mentioned hookups, wild nights, and past relationships, all while keeping a firm grasp on her own narrative. Rather than being scandalized, most fans admire how she owns her sexuality with confidence and flair, refusing to let the tabloids define her. At the end of the day, Gaga's sex life is just one part of a very complex and creative persona. She's built a legacy on self-expression, and that includes her approach to love and intimacy. Whether she's single, in a committed relationship, or just having fun, she makes it clear that being true to herself comes first. Number 19. The Smith couple. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Smith have never exactly played by Hollywood's relationship rulebook, and that includes their famously open approach to sex and marriage. Over the years, they've dropped plenty of jaw-dropping details, from Jada admitting to an entanglement with singer August Alsina to Will sharing his own romantic escapades and how they've navigated non-traditional boundaries. They've both talked openly about how important communication and freedom are in their relationship. And while it's sparked controversy, it's also fascinated the public. Because, let's be real, not many A-list couples are this raw about their private lives. What makes their sex life seem so wild isn't just the open marriage rumors or Jada's confessions on Red Table Talk. It's how unfiltered and honest they've been. Will has talked about having so much sex at one point that it made him physically ill, and Jada has spoken about learning to prioritize emotional connection over just physical chemistry. Together, they've embraced a kind of radical honesty that throws out the idea of a perfect couple and replaces it with something messier, more real, and definitely more interesting. The next one might surprise you. Do you have a wild guess in mind? Number 18. Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton might be all glitz, big hair, and rhinestones, but when it comes to her personal life, especially her sex life, she's always played things with a wink and a smile. For decades, rumors have swirled about Dolly and her longtime and very private husband, Carl Dean, with plenty of folks speculating that their love life must be as spicy as her personality. Dolly's flirtatious humor and openness about feeling sexy at any age have only added fuel to the fire. But truth be told, she's always kept the juicy details under wraps, letting the mystery do the talking. What makes Dolly's sex life seem wild is really her attitude more than any confirmed stories. She's confident, playful, and has never been afraid to joke about her figure or her love life in interviews, always with that signature sass. While people have gossiped about everything from affairs to open marriage theories, Dolly stays unbothered, reminding everyone that keeping things private can be the sexiest move of all. She might not spill the tea, but she sure knows how to keep people curious. Number 17. The controversial mogul. Diddy has long been known for living large, lavish parties, luxury yachts, and yes, a sex life that's gotten plenty of attention. Over the years, he's been linked to a long list of high-profile women like Jennifer Lopez, Cassie, and more recently, Young Miami. But what really gets people talking is the not-so-subtle hint that there's a lot more going on behind closed doors. From suggestive social media posts to spicy interviews, Diddy has built a reputation for keeping things hot, wild, and unapologetically extravagant in his romantic world. Lately, though, things have taken a more intense turn, with rumors and legal drama adding fuel to the fire. Allegations and lawsuits have popped up, pulling back the curtain on a lifestyle that sounds more chaotic than glamorous. While Diddy has denied many claims, the buzz around his name has only grown, and his once carefree image has gotten a lot more complicated. Still, for years, his sex life was part of the legend, a mix of mystery, power, and a whole lot of late-night energy. Number 16. The Umbrella Singer. Rihanna has always owned her sexuality with bold confidence, and that's a big part of why people can't stop talking about her love life. From her sultry music videos to unapologetic interviews, she's made it clear that she's in charge of her desires, and not afraid to talk about them. Over the years, she's been linked to high-profile names like Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, and her current partner, A$AP Rocky. But what makes Rihanna stand out isn't just who she's dated. It's the attitude she brings. She's empowered, playful, and never lets the media write her narrative for her. Her sex life has always had an air of mystery mixed with just the right amount of tease. She's joked about being dominant in the bedroom, talked openly about her fantasies, and even launched a lingerie line, Savage X Fenty, that screams confidence and sexual freedom. Rihanna's never been shy about celebrating her body and her pleasure, and fans love her for that. Whether she's being cheeky in interviews or heating up stages with her fierce presence, Rihanna keeps her sex appeal turned all the way up and totally in her control. Number 15. Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's sex life is the stuff of Hollywood legend. Wild, excessive, and just as rebellious as the characters he plays on screen. Back in his prime, Jack was famously surrounded by women, earning a reputation as one of the industry's biggest ladies' men. He's been linked to everyone from Angelica Houston to models, actresses, and more casual flings than anyone can count. With his signature grin, devil-may-care attitude, and that raspy charm, Jack made it clear he wasn't about to settle down quietly. And for decades, he didn't. Even into his later years, the stories haven't really stopped. Rumors of massive parties at his Mulholland Drive home, wild Hollywood nights, and a personal life that seemed as unpredictable as it was indulgent. He once joked that he had more children than he could count. He officially has 6. And while he's always kept certain things private, the myth of Jack's wild sex life has become almost as iconic as his film roles. Love him or judge him, Jack lived that old-school movie star lifestyle to the fullest and made no apologies for it. Number 14. The Got Talent Judge. Simon Cowell has never been shy about living the high life, and that extends to his sex life too. Known for his sharp tongue and even sharper wardrobe, Cowell has built a reputation not only as a music mogul, but also as a bit of a ladies' man. Over the years, he's been linked to a long list of glamorous women, including models, pop stars, and socialites. In interviews, he's openly admitted to having had thousands of sexual partners, saying it was just part of the lifestyle that came with fame and fortune. He's also made it clear that he's not one for long stretches of celibacy. For Simon, the bachelor life came with all the perks. But Cowell's approach to romance hasn't been all about quantity. While his past is full of flings and tabloid-worthy hookups, he's also shown a softer side in recent years, especially since settling down with Lauren Silverman, the mother of his child. Though the outrageous stories of his past still follow him, Cowell seems to have mellowed a bit. That said, he's still very much Simon. Cheeky, blunt, and never one to shy away from talking about intimacy with a smirk and a wink. Number 13. Olivia and Jason. When Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis were together, they weren't shy about hinting that their sex life was pretty great. In interviews, Olivia especially was open about how important chemistry and connection were in their relationship. She once joked that their sex life was so good it felt like Kenyan marathon runners, a comment that made headlines and gave fans a peek into just how playful and passionate their romance seemed. They were that couple who looked like they genuinely enjoyed each other, both emotionally and physically. Of course, since they're split, things have gotten a little more complicated. Cue the headlines, the Harry Styles drama, and the infamous custody papers moment. But during their nearly decade-long relationship, they always gave off the vibe of being in sync, both in love and in the bedroom. While the full details of their private life will always stay just that, private, Olivia and Jason definitely had a spark that people noticed. And for a while, it looked like that spark burned hot in every way. Number 12. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's sex life has been one of Hollywood's most talked-about roller coasters. Wild, unfiltered, and totally over the top. His body count? At least 5,000 women. Is that even possible? During his peak bad boy era, Charlie became just as famous for his bedroom antics as for his acting. From his high-profile relationships with porn stars to admitting he spent millions on escorts, he never tried to hide it. In fact, he leaned into the chaos, coining catchphrases like winning and proudly claiming to be a rock star from Mars. Whether it was tabloid headlines or late-night interviews, Charlie made sure his sex life stayed front and center. But all that wild energy eventually came with some serious consequences. In 2015, Charlie revealed he was HIV positive, a moment that shifted the tone of his public image dramatically. While he admitted to reckless behavior, he also became more open about taking responsibility and managing his health. These days, the sex-crazed persona is more part of his legacy than his present. Still, few celebrities have lived, or overshared, a sex life as unapologetically wild as Charlie Sheen's. Number 11. Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger's sex life has been the stuff of rock and roll legend, with estimates suggesting he's had around 4,000 sexual partners over his lifetime. Known for his wild, carefree energy and swagger, Jagger's charisma on stage seemed to translate effortlessly into his personal life. From model girlfriends to famous actresses, he's had no shortage of women fawning over him. His reputation as a ladies' man was as iconic as his performances, and for decades, his name was synonymous with partying, romance, and, of course, intimacy. In interviews, he's been refreshingly honest about his relationships, often joking that he's not a monk, and it's clear he's lived by that philosophy. But while Jagger's sexual exploits became part of rock and roll lore, they weren't without their consequences. Despite the wild fun, he's had several long-term relationships, including with supermodels like Jerry Hall, and even a marriage to Bianca Jagger. The notorious number of partners hasn't stopped him from forming deep, lasting connections with a few, and he's known to have a big family of children from different relationships. Number 10. Ric Flair. Ric Flair, the wrestling legend, has always been known for his larger-than-life persona both in and out of the ring. One of the most jaw-dropping claims he made during his career was that he had been with around 10,000 women, an outrageous number that became part of his wild reputation. Flair's party-loving, jet-setting lifestyle, complete with luxury cars, expensive suits, and plenty of women by his side, was just as famous as his wrestling accolades. In interviews, he often spoke about his adventures with women, embracing the persona of a ladies' man to the fullest, almost as if it was an extension of his wrestling character. However, later in life, Flair expressed some discomfort with that very number, acknowledging the toll his past behavior had taken on him. He admitted that while the party days were fun at the time, they came with regret, especially as he reflected on the relationships and personal connections that were sacrificed. Despite the excess and the bravado, Ric Flair's reflection on his past shows a more complex side to the man behind the Nature Boy persona. The 10,000 women claim, while legendary, has become part of his story, a story of fame, excess, and eventual self-awareness. Number 9. Poison Star. Bret Michaels, the frontman of the iconic band Poison, became just as famous for his wild romantic life as for his music. Known for his long, flowing hair and rock star swagger, Bret fully embraced the bachelor lifestyle, especially when he starred in the reality show Rock of Love in the mid-2000s. The show, which featured a string of women vying for his affection, highlighted his numerous romantic entanglements and over-the-top dating antics. Fans tuned in to see Bret's flirtatious nature as he reveled in the attention of beautiful women while maintaining his rock star persona. The show's success cemented his image as a ladies' man, and his public life was as wild as his stage performances. Behind the glitz and glam of reality TV, though, Bret's relationships were often short-lived and chaotic. While the show portrayed his dating life as full of fun and drama, it also revealed the challenges of maintaining a lasting connection. As much as he enjoyed the attention and the thrill of dating multiple women, Bret later reflected on how his relationships sometimes got lost in the craziness of fame and the rock and roll lifestyle. Number 8. Mr. Dashing. Josh Hartnett has always been the kind of guy who seemed to have it all. Good looks, a successful Hollywood career, and, of course, a long list of famous women linked to him. During the early 2000s, he was the heartthrob that everyone was talking about, and his romantic life became just as much of a focus as his acting. One of his most notable relationships was with supermodel Helena Christensen, with whom he had a notoriously on-and-off romance. Their chemistry was undeniable, but like many of his other relationships, it was marked by the constant tug-of-war between the spotlight and privacy, with fans and paparazzi alike obsessing over their every move. Despite his romantic entanglements, Josh has always kept a relatively low profile compared to other stars. Unlike some of his peers, he's managed to keep his personal life more under wraps, avoiding the kind of constant tabloid scrutiny that often accompanies fame. Still, his reputation as a ladies' man remained intact, and people often associated him with the allure of mystery and exclusivity. Today, Josh has settled down, but his past relationships with famous women, including Helena, will forever be part of his legacy as one of Hollywood's most sought-after bachelors. Number 7. Jeremy Pivven. Jeremy Pivven has long been known for his bachelor lifestyle, with his partying ways often making headlines despite the health issues that have occasionally slowed him down. Known for his role in Entourage, where he played the slick, fast-talking agent Ari Gold, Pivven seemed to bring that same level of energy and wild side into his real life. Even when reports surfaced about his struggles with health, Including some public incidents where he took time off work for alleged medical reasons, Pivven was still frequently spotted out in New York City, partying until the early hours. His nights out showcased a life of luxury, spontaneity, and living without a care, traits that many of his fans associated with the entourage lifestyle. Despite these high-energy nights, Pivven's bachelor lifestyle wasn't all about the party scene. He's been linked to several women over the years, though he's largely kept his romantic life private. Still, his persona has always been that of a fun-loving, free-spirited guy who was enjoying the ride. While his partying days seem to be behind him, his early years in the spotlight and his reputation for living life to the fullest will always be a big part of his legacy. We still have 5 more, and you might hear about one of your Hollywood favorites. The passion continues. Number 6. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell's sex life has often been a subject of curiosity due to her high-profile relationships with celebrities like Mike Tyson and Robert De Niro. While she's kept most details of her personal life private, her relationships have been widely publicized, fueling speculation about her romantic entanglements. Naomi's allure as one of the world's most famous supermodels only added to the mystique around her sex life, with fans and the media alike intrigued by the powerful men she's been linked to. From passionate flings to rumored on-again, off-again romances, her love life has been as glamorous and unpredictable as her career. However, Naomi has often managed to maintain an air of mystery about her private life, choosing not to reveal too much about her intimate relationships. Despite the rumors, she's always been a fiercely independent woman who's made it clear that she controls her own narrative. Her relationships have come and gone, but her focus has often been on her career and empowering herself as a strong, self-assured figure in the public eye. Naomi's ability to keep her sex life under wraps while still being one of the most talked-about women in the world has only added to her legendary status. Number 5. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson's sex life has been as high-profile and headline-grabbing as her career, with her relationships often in the public eye. One of the most infamous chapters of her romantic history was her sex tape with then-husband Tommy Lee, which was leaked in the late 90s. The scandal made waves, catapulting Pamela into the spotlight in a way that was both controversial and unavoidable. While the sex tape was scandalous, it also solidified Pamela as a symbol of sexuality in pop culture, and she never shied away from embracing her image as a sex icon. Over the years, she's been romantically linked to a series of high-profile men, including rock stars, actors, and even businessmen, all of whom added to her reputation as a glamorous and desirable woman. Despite the public nature of her romantic entanglements, Pamela's sex life wasn't always so open. She has often spoken about the complexities of her relationships, admitting to the ups and downs that came with her fame. Her marriage to Tommy Lee was famously turbulent, but it also seemed to reflect a passionate, fiery connection that mirrored her own public persona. Later relationships, including her marriages to Kid Rock and Rick Salomon, continued to fuel media curiosity about her personal life. She also gained attention for her relationships with more unexpected figures, such as her short-lived but widely discussed romance with Paris Hilton's ex, Adil Rami. Pamela, however, has remained resilient in the face of constant public scrutiny, learning to take control of her narrative. While her sex life and relationships have been sensationalized, she's made it clear that there's more to her than just being the sex symbol that the media loves to portray. In recent years, she's focused on activism, raising awareness on animal rights and environmental issues, proving she's grown beyond her early image. Despite everything, Pamela Anderson's sex life remains a part of her history, but not the defining element of who she is today. Number 4. Kate Moss. Kate Moss has long been known for her wild personal life, which has often made as many headlines as her modeling career. In her younger years, she became a symbol of the heroin chic era, known for her thin frame and edgy beauty, but also for her rebellious, carefree attitude toward relationships and intimacy. Kate's early experiences with love and intimacy were often talked about in the tabloids, from her famous flings to rumors of her wild nights out. She was romantically linked to several famous men, including actor Johnny Depp in the 90s, a relationship that became one of the most talked about couples in Hollywood at the time. This era painted Kate as a bad girl, with a sex appeal that seemed to transcend conventional beauty standards. Her high-profile romantic escapades didn't stop there, as her personal life continued to be a topic of intrigue. She was involved in a much-publicized relationship with rock star Pete Doherty, who, much like Kate, was known for his wild behavior and tumultuous relationships. The couple's on and off romance was marked by chaotic, party-filled nights that played into Kate's rebellious image. The press had a field day with her wild behavior, often blurring the lines between her professional success and her personal escapades. However, despite the media storm, Kate has always seemed unbothered, often shrugging off the gossip and maintaining her status as one of the most iconic supermodels in history. As she matured, Kate began to shift away from the party girl image, eventually finding stability in her relationships. She has been married to rocker Jamie Hintz and more recently to businessman Nikolai von Bismarck, both of whom have seemingly provided a more grounded life for her. While Kate's early years were defined by wild nights and famous relationships, her journey into her 40s has been more focused on family, fashion, and finding peace with her past. Her sex life and romantic adventures have always been part of her allure. But today, Kate Moss is more about enjoying the quiet moments and keeping her personal life more private. Number 3. Abby and Glennon. Abby Wambach and Glennon Doyle's relationship has been one of openness, growth, and evolution, and they've been very candid about the complexities of their romantic and sexual connection. Both women have spoken openly about how they navigated their relationship after Abby's retirement from professional soccer and Glennon's divorce from her first husband. In an episode of the popular podcast Call Her Daddy, the couple discussed how their initial attraction wasn't just physical, but also emotional, revealing a deeper connection that helped them both grow personally and as a couple. Abby has been especially open about how much her relationship with Glennon challenged her to evolve, not only in her understanding of her sexuality, but also in her approach to intimacy and vulnerability. The two have shared that their relationship didn't start in a conventional way, with both admitting they went through personal growth that reshaped their ideas of love and intimacy. They've talked openly about how important it was to feel safe and seen with one another, and how intimacy became an important part of their journey, helping to create a more honest and fulfilling connection. Glennon has spoken about how she had to unlearn certain ideas about intimacy, moving away from the expectations placed on her in past relationships to something more authentic. Abby, on the other hand, revealed how her relationship with Glennon helped her break free from old patterns and embrace intimacy in ways she never had before. What makes Abby and Glennon's approach to their sex life so refreshing is their commitment to continuous growth. They've been honest about the ups and downs of maintaining a healthy, sexual relationship, from communication struggles to the lessons they've learned over time. Their openness in discussing the evolution of their intimacy has made them relatable to many, especially as they challenge traditional narratives about relationships. Through their podcast appearance and public conversations, they've encouraged others to embrace the complexities of intimacy, love, and personal growth. showing that even the most intimate parts of life can be part of a journey of self-discovery. Number 2. New Gen Couple. Nico Tortorella and Bethany Myers are a modern couple who have embraced a polyamorous and open marriage, where communication and shared goals are central to their relationship. Both openly identify as non-monogamous and have been vocal about their commitment to building a relationship that doesn't fit traditional molds. Their sex life, therefore, isn't just about their connection with each other, but also about fostering a dynamic that allows space for other relationships. They've been open about the fact that their intimacy is rooted in trust and understanding, emphasizing that the foundation of their marriage is not just physical, but emotional and intellectual as well. This approach allows them to be free in exploring their desires while maintaining a strong bond with each other. What sets Nico and Bethany apart is their deep focus on communication, which they believe is key to maintaining a healthy and fulfilling sex life. They've discussed how, in a polyamorous setup, regular check-ins and honest conversations about needs and boundaries are crucial. For them, intimacy isn't just an individual experience, but something that is continually evolving as their relationship grows. While the idea of an open marriage might seem unconventional to some, they stress that it's about breaking free from societal expectations and creating a dynamic that works for them, one that fosters personal growth, exploration, and a more expansive view of love and intimacy. And last, but definitely not the least interesting and wild, this couple is the dream couple in real life. Number 1. The Power Couple. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend have become one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, known not just for their careers, but for their playful, open approach to their relationship and sex life. Both have been refreshingly candid about their intimacy, often sharing funny and relatable anecdotes with their fans. They've openly discussed everything from their sizzling chemistry to their steamy moments, including their infamous story about joining the Mile High Club. Chrissy, with her cheeky humor and honesty, has shared the details of their adventurous side, showing that they keep their spark alive even after years of marriage and parenthood. Their openness has made them more relatable to their followers as they embrace their sexuality and sense of fun. Their willingness to discuss their sex life publicly has also highlighted the strong communication and trust that form the backbone of their relationship. Chrissy and John have shown that a healthy and exciting sex life doesn't have to be kept in the shadows. Instead, they celebrate their connection in a way that's both lighthearted and authentic, creating a relationship that feels grounded in both love and humor. Whether they're sharing personal stories on social media or joking around in interviews, it's clear that Chrissy and John's sex life is one of the many aspects of their bond that keeps their relationship playful, loving, and full of energy. Are you aware of more stars who are outspoken about the intimate department? Let's hear from you then. Subscribe to the channel for more.